Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into the really fascinating logical framework from Thomas Chalko's book, The Freedom of Choice. This book, let me tell you, it tackles some of the biggest questions you can even imagine, like, why are we here? And what is the whole point of the universe? So, let's get right into it.
Okay, so to get us started, the author kicks things off with a pretty memorable question. Imagine this. If you offered a dog a beautiful diamond and, well, a piece of excrement, which one is it going to choose? The dog, it doesn't see the value in the diamond. Its intellect just isn't there. This simple idea really sets the stage for a central theme of the book, that our choices, the ones we make every single day, are fundamentally limited by our own level of intellect. All right, starting with that core idea, the author begins to build his entire argument from a really simple, powerful analogy, something anyone can wrap their head around.
So think about this for a second. Could a house, with all its complex parts, right? The windows, the doors, the plumbing, could it just build itself? I mean, even if you gave it an infinite amount of time. The argument here is that the probability is basically zero. And why is that? Because a house requires intellect. It has to be imagined, designed, and planned before a single brick is ever laid. This is where we see the author's logical chain really take shape. Look at this. Step 1, a house requires a designer. We can all pretty much agree on that. Step 2, life is infinitely more complex than any house. So the logical conclusion, step 3, is that life must also have a designer. And that leads to the final point. This designer couldn't just be some ordinary intelligence. It would have to be what the author calls a great intellect. So the crucial takeaway from this whole first part, the foundation of everything else, is this one big conclusion from the book. A great intellect had to exist first. It had to be there before any life could even begin to exist in the universe. Okay, so this, of course, leads us to the next massive question. If we go with the premise of a great intellect, then what was its motive? I mean, why create anything at all? The book argues the answer is really a design for love. Now, the author defines true love very specifically here. It's a blissful, mutual exchange of feelings. See, it's not a one-way street. To truly experience it, an intellect has to be able to give love and also be loved in return. The book proposes this is the ultimate need for any advanced intellect. But, and this is a big but, this presents a really fascinating design dilemma. And here it is, the core design challenge. On one side, you have forced love. The author says this is just plain impossible. The second you demand it or put conditions on it, it vanishes and gets replaced by bitterness. But on the other side, you have inspired love. And this kind of love can only be chosen freely. It requires complete autonomy. It's the only way to get to that genuine, mutual exchange of feelings.
So if you follow that logic, the book concludes that for this great intellect to ever experience love, the very design of the universe had to include these non-negotiable conditions. You need other individual intellects to exist. You need unlimited autonomy for every single one of them. You need unconstrained freedom of choice or free will, and you need an unlimited potential for their intellectual growth.
So, if the whole universe was designed for autonomous beings to freely choose love, then the obvious next question is, well, who are these beings? And according to this framework, the answer is pretty profound. It's us. The book makes this incredibly bold claim that we are the purpose of the entire universe. It identifies human beings as the central reason for all of creation, the potential intelligent companions for that great intellect.
This thing gives us a pretty clear purpose, and it's twofold. First, our job is to develop our own individual intellect as far as we possibly can. And second, is to develop our ability to experience the highest feelings we can imagine, with love being the ultimate goal. So as the author argues, our entire existence is this journey of intellectual and emotional evolution with absolutely no limits. But if we have this unlimited freedom, a massive question pops up, right? Why is there so much suffering? The book presents this not as some kind of punishment, but actually as part of a huge self-correcting system that's designed to help us learn. The author calls this the self-correcting design. And here's how it works. Within this framework, any action that goes against the purpose, things like ignoring someone else's freedom or their growth, it results in suffering. Now, this is crucial. This suffering is not a punishment. Think of it more like a feedback mechanism, a lesson from the universe itself designed to help us learn and get our choices back on track. The book then gets really specific and identifies several actions that it claims violate this purpose. Things like pushing belief systems instead of encouraging real understanding, promoting and sustaining fear, enforcing rigid doctrines, interfering with anyone's freedom of choice, and disrespecting individuality. According to the text, these are the kinds of actions that cripple our intellect. They limit our freedom, and as a result, they create the suffering we see all around us.
And so, this whole incredible logical journey brings us right back to where we began, individual choice. The book lays out this entire sweeping framework for the purpose of the universe, but at the end of the day it puts the ultimate responsibility right back on our shoulders. The design, it argues, grants us the freedom of choice. So the final, and maybe the most important question it leaves us with is, what do you choose?